Kia ora everybody, and welcome to New Zealand Handball Kōrero. I have got the pleasure today to be chatting with the only, Luke Ireland. Luke is currently over in Saudi Arabia representing Sydney Uni at Super Globe. So I thought, Luke, you could start us off today with just explaining a little bit about what the Super Globe is.
Yeah, thanks, Cam, and a real pleasure to be sitting down and talking to you. Not often do I say that to you, but there you go. So the Super Globe, yeah, look, it's a competition across some of the best teams in the world. It's what I guess you would call the Club World Champs. So you've got clubs represented from each of the continents coming together for a 5-day tournament to battle it out for the top spots. So obviously Sydney Uni, we're the representative for the Oceania region. Our first game is against Magdeburg, who come off the back of a really impressive season in Europe. So that kind of gives you a flavour of the different teams, different cultures, and different styles of handball. So it all comes together on the world stage here in Jeddah come tomorrow. So yeah, very excited.
Awesome. And I guess the next question is, how does a guy from little old Wellington, New Zealand, end up on this global stage all of a sudden?
Yeah, she wasn't easy that much, is for sure, mate. Look, it was a call came in from Sydney Uni. They sort of said, look, they'd been in conversations with the IHF. Obviously, the pandemic makes everything that much more complicated. A whole bunch of work behind the scenes, and the next thing you know, they're able to waive their transfer policy for the IHF, and therefore able to send the request out to a few different characters that would otherwise not have been eligible to play. So, I was fortunate enough to have played against the Australian team last year in Kuwait in the Asian Championships, and I think the communication between the Australian Federation and the New Zealand Federation is only increasing, and the management from Sydney Uni were kind enough to reach out and offer me a spot. And I think for someone that knows what the Super Globe is and has sort of watched the games in the past years, you don't say no to an opportunity like that, even if it includes not being able to come back to New Zealand thereafter. So that's sort of what brought me here.
Nice. So in short, score 10 goals against the country you're playing against, and you suddenly got a Super Globe spot.
No, not quite that.
You did score 10 goals. Yeah, I was there. So I guess thinking about the tournament, obviously, probably what we know about Oceania handball is that we're still in the beginning phases of working towards, some of these. We're going to be playing professional clubs, really, aren't you? And I guess, what are some of the outcomes that you're hoping to get from a tournament on the big stage like this?
Yeah, I think our goals maybe differ slightly to some of the other teams. Certainly, we're willing to put 100% in. And when it comes to this first game tomorrow, all you can do is give yourself a chance, right? Come onto the field, give your all, take the responsibility for the ball, for your teammates, for the people back home. Coach talks a lot about responsibility in terms of, the players that are here aren't necessarily all the players that wanted to be here or that had the opportunity. So there are some people in Australia that aren't able to come join us because they're unable to get back home. So, we talk about actually taking responsibility, and at the end of the day, at the end of the tournament, you're just going to have to sit down and look at each of your teammates and say, yeah, when I was on court, I gave my all. And I think that's all we can really ask for. So, in terms of the outcome of this tournament, I think that's what we're looking for. You touched on it, right? There's still the maturity of Oceania handball still trying to increase. And that's all part of it, is showing that we're developing, showing that the sport's growing in our region. These are guys from Australia that are talking about, the Olympics now, because obviously with Brisbane coming up in 10 plus years, there's just something to really strive for. So a very exciting program ahead for Handball Australia.
Yeah, so obviously, yeah, like you touched on there, the Olympics in Brisbane in 2032 is going to be a huge goal for Aussie to really do well. So it's really great that they were able to even get a team here to represent Oceania and get it on not only the world stage, but, chances within Australia and New Zealand to plug the game and get some content out there and positivity for handball, which is only good in our region, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. We're certainly Yeah, we're feeling very fortunate with the support from the IHF and the Oceania Handball Federation. I think everyone, wants us to succeed and wants us to do well. And this is, genuinely one of the first steps to that those whatever pool games come the Olympics in 10 years' time. It's crazy to think just how much preparation there's going to be for it. But, that this is genuinely the start of what's a very exciting journey for that.
Awesome, sweet. I guess the only other thing is, on a personal note, what are you hoping to get out of the tournament, and maybe what's next for Luke Island? You've already touched on obviously not being able to get back to New Zealand with the way that MIQ is and all that kind of stuff. So I've heard there's a couple of sneaky plans to maybe even keep building on the skills and the experience that you're going to have over the next week.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say exactly what I want to get out of this tournament. I think, we talked about, a chap from Wellington that had only really played his, the Wellington League. While that is a growing sport and growing league in New Zealand, it is only 5 teams and it's not the most competitive of situations week in, week out. So, for me to just come here in the first place, a massive win. But you don't want to get complacent, and now the next step is trying to build on that, right? Trying to get some outputs in the game. I think it's a very different dynamic for this team compared to, say, the New Zealand team when we play together. I think what you see in the New Zealand team is perhaps I take more responsibility for the ball. Some of the more attacking options will come directly through me. I think in this team here, there's a bit more experience, a bit more understanding around how we play the game, how we want to be playing the game, and so. For me, it's a very cool opportunity now to actually be able to find a way to fill in with the team and contribute where I can rather than necessarily taking the lead. So a slight adjustment there, but very excited to be contributing as part of my role for this team. Beyond the tournament, look, it's a weird and wonderful world, mate. I have a flight to the UK that's about the extent of it. The only reason for that is so that I can basically go back to a country. I'm currently playing on a British passport, regrettably, just because you have to be going back somewhere. So needed the UK passport to get back there. But beyond that, look, who knows if we can build on this experience? Absolutely. I think what we see in New Zealand is a very low frequency of handball, even at the absolute max when we're talking about preparation for the Asia Champs. In the men's team and in the regular season, maybe you train once, maybe twice a week, maybe the handball camp, maybe you play the game. Those weekends are quite intense, but thereafter it's quite a lull. Here we're training twice a day. Every day it's something else, and the enjoyment factor, to be honest, only increases with more handball. So, like, the opportunity to play more regular handball, I think, is exactly what I'm looking for. Season's just starting, and so I'm here's hoping that I can actually slot into a team and start really developing what it means to be a handball player.
Awesome. And that's only great for us back in New Zealand, because eventually you'll come back to us and be able to share that knowledge. So from I guess all of us at home, I know we're all sitting at home wishing you the best, and I'm sure we'll be tuning into those matches and training twice a day. Hopefully you're not visiting that team physio too much.
Only 2 injuries, mate. Only 2 injuries. We're okay.
Right.
It's manageable.
But best luck, and hopefully we'll be able to have a chat in between maybe some of the pool games and get a bit more of insight into what playing some fully professional teams feels and looks like, and some of the insights that you're able to provide us from maybe life over in Saudi Arabia at the moment, and some of the things that you're up to over there.
Cool. Yeah, no, cheers, mate. Appreciate your time.
Cheers, bro.